now we're going to make the curved pieces that go across here. I don't know what they're called, but we're going to make them. So across here is roughly 120 millimeters. We're going to use a bit of PVC pipe, which I bought. I think it's 110 across here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the piece first, then we're going to cut it in half, and then we're going to spread it slightly to go across there. Now, to ensure that you get a straight cut, all you have to do is mark in your 110 and then get a piece of paper and wrap it all the way around. If you wrap it all the way around and make sure the ends meet evenly, you'll have a perfectly straight line. Then all you have to do is just draw around the edge of your paper and you'll have a nice perfect line around the whole thing. Otherwise you can mark 110, 110, 110 all the way around if you like, but it's easy with a bit of paper. Okay, now there's your 110mm line all the way around. Now rather than just getting a saw and cuttings all the way through and trying to guide it and keep control of it, cut through till you go through the thickness and then you can rotate it, cut a bit more, rotate it, cut a bit more, rotate it, so you get all the way around, you'll have a nice straight cut that follows your line. Of course the saw you use for this is a hacksaw. You can use a wood saw if you want with fine teeth, but a hacksaw is the best. Now we need to cut down here and down here, cut it in half. The quickest way to get a centre of that, we know there's 110 across there, so you get your dividers and set it to 55mm, draw a circle on the page, then you'll have a centre point. All you have to do then is get a ruler and draw a line through the middle, and that's your centre line. And then you put that on top, mark it there, turn it over, mark it there, and then draw your line down and cut it. I've just drawn the circle, I don't know if you can see that very well, but you've got your centre point, that's where your compass point was, here, as you drew the circle. All you have to do then is just get your ruler anywhere on there and draw a line straight through. Doesn't have to be straight through, it can just be a mark on the side. And then when you put this on top, you'll know where the centre marks are. And once you've got your lines, you have to cut them in half. Cut them, you have two pieces like that. One on the floor, one up here. What we need to do now is we have to make it fit the timber, and it's actually 10mm across here, not enough, so we have to spread it out a bit more. Okay, this next piece is a bit tricky. You want to mark up 55, so it's halfway. We need to mark this curve in each piece. And the other way to do that is you put a mark in the middle up here, roughly in the middle, and you get a piece of plastic like this with a straight edge. You'll need someone else to mark it for you, because you can only use two hands at a time, of course. But you hold that in the bottom down there, and then it's hard to even do it with the video. And then you mark it around like that. You mark half one side, and then you go on the other side and do the other side. The only way you're going to get an even curve is that way. And when you cut it, you got to hold. You don't cut it like this. You hold it up like that, so your line is basically vertical all the way around. And you cut it straight down. So clamp it in a vise this way, with a G-clamp or something, or get someone to hold it, one or the other, but you've got to cut it straight down like that. Now it's a little bit awkward to do, but I held mine in the vise like this, so the line was vertical. I started here. Once I got through the thickness, I just worked down this side, keeping my blade straight, and then worked down this side using this hacksaw. It's pretty easy to cut, so you can just hold this with your hand as you cut it. As I said, it's a bit awkward, but it's not too bad to do. Now that we've cut those wedges, we're going to cut 114mm circle here. The reason we use 114mm is because we need this to be 120, and at the moment it's not that, but 120 minus 3mm here and 3mm here is 114. So we're going to cut a wedge, so we cut a full circle, then we'll cut that into a wedge that goes inside there and spreads it out to the right amount, and then we can nail and glue and hold it in place. Now we've cut the disc. You can see how it goes in and spreads it out wider. Once you've done that, just hold it in there and put a mark just short of the bottom on the inside on the wood. Do it for both pieces, because one disc will do two pieces, and then what we're going to do is going to draw a line straight across there, and we're going to cut them off and make two wedges. You're still going to want a spring, so what you want to do is you want to come in from this edge about an inch, and you want to draw a line around the outside, around there, the same way we did before with a bit of paper if you like. We can just mark there and then draw a line with a bit of paper. What you need to do with a bit of paper, what you need to do is you need to drill small pilot holes in the plastic all the way around for some small nails. And we're going to put some glue on the wood and we're going to nail that all the way around. Don't make this piece too close to this side because that will foul up any caps you put on later and any glue you need to put in there. Now I've drilled these holes now, I've marked the lines and drilled the holes. Make sure, a couple of tricks, make sure your first hole is not down here, it's about 1 inch in. Because when your nail goes through at an angle, you don't want it to split your timber. So you want to have one down there, one down here, one in the middle and one between. Alright? Now you use a very, very small drill bit, which is the exact width of the nail you're going to put in. You want to use, I don't know if you can see that, but you want to use just a flat head nail. You don't want to use it's actually slightly, it's a bullet head nail, but it's very flat. So what you need to do is that'll just drop in there like that. But I can still feel the head of that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the head is still sticking out slightly. So what you do after you've done that is you take your nail out and you get a slightly bigger drill. This is 3mm thick, so you've got a fair bit of room to move. And you just countersink it, you just take the top of it off so the head will drop down below the surface of the plastic. That way you can fill it later and hide it. The other trick to do is if you haven't got a drill bit that's the exact same thing as your nail, you can get the nail, get pliers and cut the head off the nail, and you can put that in your drill. Even though it's not a drill bit, it will drill through plastic. So you'll be able to use the actual nail to do the job. This is what you want to end up with. Things to remember when you're doing it. Don't start here because you can't hold it. You're going to start on this side here, put one in there, even if you put it halfway in, and then put this one in here. So he's basically holding it together the whole time and nail that one in. And then you nail the middle one and then the ones in between. That's what you end up with. And it fits to the right width. Pretty damn close. And what this wedge does under here, it actually spread that PVC piping to be wider than it is. It also gives you a point to screw and mount things to, so you can put a bracket in there later on and screw straight to that thing, and then it'll hold everything in place. Now that you've done those two, you've got one for each of R2's leg. You're going to need another two. So this is for the left leg, that's for the right leg. You're going to need another two exactly the same for R2's middle leg. After you've made your 4 pieces and nailed those pieces on, you want to get some 120 grit sandpaper, and you want to sand all the shine off here. So you want to take no shine, so make sure there's no shine on it, so it has to be sort of dull. You want to make it dull so the paint will stick to it. And there you have it. Those nail holes will be filled, and you paint it over and it'll be like they were never there.